Matt, quite the last 10 minutes to that game, but a superb win, and I think the fans, as we can still hear them singing, going home very happy.
Yeah, look, they'll go home happy, as we all will do tonight. I actually thought it was quite a good game of football. In fairness to both teams, in difficult conditions because of the wind obviously played its part. I thought both teams tried to play the game in the right way. I was disappointed we went behind, almost came out of nothing to a certain extent, that neither team had really created enough openings to be ahead in that game. And then on that point onwards, we had to then somehow create some space on the football pitch and almost allow Swindon to have more of the ball, to keep them open in their shape, but have more attacking bodies in the right positions. And I'm delighted that the strength of the squad's been shown in terms of the substitutions impact. But you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. I'm delighted for Jevani and Tim.
I think you could split that game into thirds, really. The first third and the final third, we were better the side, I think, in that bit in the middle of the match, probably where Swindon were the better side, either side of half time.
Yeah, I mean, look, against that wind, similar to what we did in the first half, you had to make an extra pass. We probably had more of the ball in the first half and maybe the better slight openings, but then it suited Swindon as well in that second half period. So it was whatever came first, and unfortunately we went behind in the game, but we stuck to task, and something I was really pleased about. And we didn't panic too much, and we probably believed it was going to come. It was still a moment of quality, but I think when we watched it back, we probably showed that we had more bodies in the right areas of the pitch, more attacking bodies, and that probably came through a slight change of shape and a slightly different approach at the top end of the pitch.
Were you disappointed with the manner in which we went behind?
Yes, because let's be honest, if the lad's on the far touchline, the one pass he shouldn't have as an option in terms of the pass is the one into feet inside the box. So I'll have to look at that back in terms of, I can guarantee we're almost one too many in the other areas of the pitch, and we've got to cover that space first and foremost and allow the ball backwards or round us, if that makes sense, as opposed to straight through and into the box. But it's still a hell of a finish to beat Cam from that angle and that position, and that showed the quality was on show today. Like I said, I can't speak high enough in terms of the way Swindon play, and it was a proper footballing game in difficult conditions. You cast your mind back to 2 years ago where it almost ruined the affair. Today I still felt both teams were able to implement their style there.
Before my time, I'd heard a lot about the wind at this previous Swindon match, and I guess it probably worked in our favour today with those 2 goals at the end.
See the things blowing past us now, and those fans who were sat in this section to my left must have just had the wind blowing in the face. Their eyes must have been watering constantly throughout the game, if that makes sense, because it was a strong wind. And it's strange because it doesn't feel that strong elsewhere, but then you come into the ground and it's a fantastic stadium to play football in, but the wind generally comes straight down the middle, and it did have an effect. You saw some balls in the first half go straight up in the air and out of play. I was just pleased that the whole game didn't turn into that, because the amount of fans who were here today, I don't know how many were here, but it seemed a good capacity crowd. At least they got to see some good football played the right way.
To quote, I believe, the BBC commentators during the game, Jevani Brown doesn't do tap-ins.
Well, I wish he did. If he did, I'd be selling him for £1 million. He doesn't. He scores outstanding goals, and we'll still want to add to that. I'm pleased because he's not started to hit form, but that's 2 in recent weeks. Both similar sort of goals, similar sort of angles. No one better in terms of actually pinpointing where he's going to put the ball, but he's got that quality. He probably got the rewards for his efforts. Really pleased in terms of Kieran's debut. That will only get stronger and stronger in terms of his personality within the team. But then obviously introducing Nombe is a slightly different animal at the top end of the pitch, and then it just created a little bit of chaos, a little bit of havoc, and we were able to put them under pressure at certain times. They still had the large share of possession, which is what we almost allowed to a certain extent, but it just meant.
And of course, Tim on the score sheet. I say the same about him every week.
Fantastic. Look, he was stretching for the last 10 minutes of that game, even before he scored. So we'll have to be mindful of him for Tuesday. We know how much we missed Tim in that December period, let's be honest. So we'll assess him going into Tuesday. I know he's quite tight in certain areas of his body, but he's consistently scored goals this season from a midfield position, and that's it's gold dust, so to speak. I still think we'll still create more and get more of our goal-scoring players on that pitch. NJ doesn't look like he's far away from a goal, and Nombe's coming back to form and fitness, so to speak. And Kieran's introduction was where it needed to be. So I'm pleased, but the biggest headline, so to speak, should be the strength of the squad. Nombe's introduction, Sparks' introduction, and Josh Coley as well. That's a big period of time in terms of Josh Coley, who was out on that pitch, and his biggest contribution so far.
Obviously, mentioned Sam Nombe. Great to see him back on the pitch. I imagine going forward, your mind's racing about how you can fit him, Phillips, Armand all into the same team.
Not really. We've just got to get him fully fit first and foremost. It's strange because you've almost got your main player and one of your biggest signings on the bench, and it's almost risk reward at the moment. We felt he was right for 30 minutes, 35 minutes today, and he looked like he was moving well enough, which is the biggest measure, the biggest marker in terms of where his body's at. We'll assess him now going into Tuesday. We can't rush him too soon because the risk of losing him for the next 19 games is too big. Let's be honest in relation to that. So being able to make an impact off the bench is huge at our level. Something we've not had in the last couple of months, but we certainly see him stronger. Let's be honest, Harry Kite, Alex Hartridge and Podrick Amond not able to get in that 18-man squad today.
You mentioned the fans, 10,500 in total, and a shade under 1,300 from Exeter, so superb effort as always.
Absolutely, look, they'll travelled well, they'll go home in good voice. I'm really happy, whether it's the trainer or coaches, and then they stuck with the game, if that makes sense. Sometimes when you go 1-0 down there can be moments and murmurs, but they stuck with the game and they carried on believing, and his team's got something to believe in because he's got quality when we're all right and all at it and all fully fit, and that was a big game today coming into it. It was still a big 3 points because of the league table first and foremost, but to come to Swindon on a day like today, and I thought they played quite well, and to take 3 points I'm delighted.
And I think as a player, when you've picked up a win like this, you're bouncing, the morale's high. The next thing you want to do is just play another game, and ideal, we've got another game on Tuesday.
It depends how tired you are. Let's be honest,
not me anyway.
That was a big effort, wasn't it? This can't be the highest moment in the next couple of games. We have to back it up, and we know what a tough test Tuesday night will bring, but really pleased to, we kept 4 clean sheets on the bounce and only conceded 1 today, so that's 1 conceded in 5, so strength wise we are defending well, and we want to keep adding goals to that aspect, but we were collectively a strong club today, whether it was ourselves as a squad and the 18th, 19th, 20th men, the substitutions, the fans, the 1,200 fans you've just mentioned there. I felt collectively that was a strong showing from Exeter.
Matt, thanks a lot.